Hello, my name is Marina. As you're about to discover in this movie, I like tea a lot. Making tea, drinking tea, but most importantly for me is giving away tea. The way I see it is every pot of tea I serve is a gift. There's no charge to ensure maximum participation in the pot. Inability to pay, that's not an issue. This tea is free. When people have had my tea, however, they do like to give something back and tend to make a donation. I welcome this. I don't make a profit, but it does help me cover my costs. So, if you watch Just Do It, the movie, for free, that's marvellous. That's brilliant, because we want as many people as possible to see this film. But when you've seen it, if you choose to make a donation, that's quality. Donate. Just do it.
Go ahead and make some tea.
Oh, a lovely cup of tea, one with sugar.
Can you tell me a bit about the relationship between tea and the revolution?
Taking tea is what the British do whenever they're in a difficult circumstance. If you have some bad news, you have a cup of tea. At a funeral, you have a cup of tea. They bomb your homes, you have a cup of tea. We've got the kettle on, we haven't got enough water in it, we're going to make loads of tea.
So you tend to serve tea at most events?
Hiya, would you like a cup of tea?
Yeah, I've served tea outside the Bank of England on more than one occasion. I've served tea to the Silver Command, which is the second in overall command on an action when the police are involved. I've served tea to politicians, outside factories. I've tried to serve tea to bailiffs as they're evicting.
It's a free cup of tea, or if you want to make a donation, that's allowed too. Yes, but we don't have a... Because being an anti-capitalist, it would be a bit hypocritical, wouldn't it, to start selling people tea?
And the last thing you want to do is be drinking alcohol on the front line because your judgment goes. So if you can just drink tea and save the drinking for the party when you eventually go home. I'm not going to say we're professionals. We're professional domestic extremists. We don't drink while we're working.
So you're a domestic extremist?
I'm a domestic extremist.
What makes you a domestic extremist?
You will have to ask Special Branch what makes me a domestic extremist. I care passionately about politics on a global level, but work on it on a local level, so within my own country, mostly. That's the domestic bit. I'm extreme because I've gone well beyond in my climate change activities. I've gone well beyond recycling and walking the kids to school, although, of course, all that goes without saying. I put my body in the way, and I don't mind being arrested.
You know when you're watching the news, right, and you see things like this? And then the newsreaders say really helpful stuff, like this.
Let's bring you now the latest we're getting from this so-called Camp for Climate Action.
Environment campaigners have scaled a building in central London and unfurled a banner.
I'm glad he's cleaning up, but I hope he's going to have a shower. His feet were filthy.
Well, this is what you don't see. A glimpse into the secretive and clandestine world of environmental direct action.
We just fucking do it. We've got a banner, we've got 4D locks.
I'm James, and I'm your guide. And how do I know what I'm talking about? Well, that's me climbing into that power station. But this isn't a film about me, it's about people like this.
Having the fear of God put into me by the climate science circuit scared the crap out of me, I'm not going to lie, and that was when I went, right, this is not something that I can know and then not do anything about. I have to do something.
I want to feel like I'm doing something rather than nothing and not just watching the world go to shit.
We don't really have that much choice about the fact that we've put as much carbon dioxide in the atmosphere as we already have. I think what we do have a choice about is the future now.
Lots of getting arrested, running around, hiding, escaping, playing with media.
But if you think you can do something and you can make a difference through campaigning or putting your body in the way, then that's empowering.
It doesn't matter if it's legal, it doesn't matter if it's dodgy, it doesn't matter if it's big, it doesn't matter if it's small, you've just got to do it, like, just do it.
It's April Fool's Day 2009. The world's leaders are in London for the G20 meeting, and a flurry of protests are welcoming them to town. Climate Camp are planning to turn the heart of the financial district into a street party. Their target? Blockading the European Climate Exchange. Why? Because they don't want the climate to be left in the hands of the bankers.
Well, exactly. Some trouble needs to be caused.
The camp had all the ingredients for a good party, and everyone was there. Here's Paul getting his groove on. There's Sophie climbing into trouble as usual. And of course Marina's getting the kettle on. Even the press were loving it.
At the moment, things are very calm, very relaxed.
But as evening drew in, a bunch of uninvited party poopers gate crashed. Policing like this would normally go unnoticed, but a death is harder to brush under the carpet. Ian Tomlinson, on his way home from work, in the wrong place at the wrong time, was pushed to his death. The outrage this caused led to a dramatic change in the policing of protests. Gone, the police claimed, were beatings, brute force and random kettling. In came a PR offensive of kindly coppers and tea.
This is public land and the police are entitled to come in here, okay? You have to be reasonable. Do you know what? I would love a cup of tea. Thank you very much. That'd be great.
How long the police would behave themselves for, nobody knew. Down on the Isle of Wight, champion tea maker Marina is about to dig her heels in.
Hello! We're at the protest camp outside the Vestas Blades UK factory on the Isle of Wight. The factory is being occupied by the workers. Yay. A wind turbine factory was closed down because there apparently wasn't a demand for wind turbines and over 400 workers lost their jobs.
Reinstate the workers! Reinstate them now!
People think that people making wind turbines, they must be really cool people. There must be hippies running that company. No, and yeah, they are capitalists, they profit, bottom line, that's all they're interested in. They went in with stuff, but they'd run out of supplies. Food could only be got into them in tennis balls, being lobbed from distance. They were getting hungry. And Vestas, this multinational company, was starving them out. Well, we weren't having that, obviously. You know, this lady turned up and said, I've made some fish and chips, and I want to deliver them to the men in the factory, and I want to deliver it myself, and I want them to eat it while it's still warm. I was like, okay. we can facilitate that. Our problem is, she wants to look at them herself, and I think that's quite right. We have to cause a diversion. Okay, are we ready?
Coming from the government, windmill turning on. Boys on the balcony standing strong. Wind power, wave and sun. This is a fight that must be won. Windmill turning on. Boys on the balcony standing strong. For work in a world where the turbines spin. This is a battle we all must win.
And we went on, and half the fish and chips got through.
Yes, come on. We don't have bullies like that telling us what to do. Exactly. Nonsense.
It was absolutely fantastic celebration because suddenly all the locals were like, yay, they've been fed. You know, people coming up here and it's like, oh, those terrible environmental anarchists have just fed our lads and have done it with the locals, and everyone's suddenly all on the same side. But the beautiful thing about it, and this is what absolutely warms your cockles, is it was direct action. 2 days running, we took direct action. We did it with manners, and we just did it with courage, and we did it with humour. And now Vestas has said, shit, we can't have this. We're going to feed the guys whatever they want to eat, and the guys want a roast dinner today. So now we're going to start taking them in soap, shampoo, things to wash their hair with, new underwear, socks, T-shirts, handwritten cards from their children and family, newspapers.
Back in London, a plan is afoot to get the Vestas struggle into the papers. The target is Lord Mandelson, Minister for Business and everyone's favourite unelected slimy politician.
So what the plan is to draw attention to the fact that he's kind of responsible for Vestas turbine factory closing down. What we're saying is Mandelson has it in his power to put a huge amount of investment into the car industry. Generally he's quite good at pushing for and helping out high carbon industries, but when it comes to a failing wind turbine factory, he's incapable of giving them any incentive to stay, promising that there'll be a demand in this country within the next 5 years.
Tomorrow, Sally will be chaining herself to Mandelson's house, and she could be arrested.
So have you been arrested? You've not? You're prepared to be?
I guess I have to be prepared to be, yeah. It's a really slow decision. I'd been around a lot of people who had been arrested. I'd heard their stories. I knew what it kind of entailed. You make a kind of theoretical decision. So I guess like the crunch point of the theoretical decision was in saying that I would get involved with the Peter Mandelson action. If they can bail out the banks with £1.4 trillion, then they need to be bailing out our green future.
As hoped, the stunt propelled the Vestas struggle into the headlines.
When I changed from medicine, there was like a lot of uncertainty in my life about what I was going to do instead of this great career plan. But in fact, as I've got more involved in activism, I think it's become really clear to me what the most urgent things that I need to be doing are. Great thing about doing activism is it's a whole other education outside of this quite narrow education that you can sometimes get in Cambridge, where you're very much taught to think in an academic way that's disconnected from the real world. And I think I want to use all the education I've got here and put it into the real world and then learn more skills from other people. So that's what really excites me about having these two worlds.
Pitching up on the doorsteps of places like airports and power stations, Climate Camp run large direct action training camps and have shifted the entire climate change debate in the UK. But if you've seen Climate Camp on the news, you'll know that they are frequently portrayed as just a bunch of violent hooligans.
Police say this was the reason they had to go into the climate camp.
There's a knife here which was discovered in a tree, and down below we see grappling irons that of course could be used to scale any building, and these are white suits that some of the protesters might wear, they say. Also we see bolt croppers. They could be used to try to take down any fences. And over here we see wetsuits. Now the protesters have said they'll try to reach King's North by any means, by air, by land and by sea.
Now, climate campers may be extremists, and they definitely are. And they may even be prepared to break the law, which they often do. But let's be clear about one thing. Previous climate camps have been marred by police violence, but the campers have resisted this peacefully. This year, the camp is in London, and they're targeting the banks that finance climate change. Marina's in a group coming up from the south coast.
Today's Times, page 12 and 13, and an image of a petrol bomb exploding, which is ludicrous because we use biodiesel, not petrol.
We're doing some basic techniques that might come in useful for the first 24 hours while we're settling down with the police. If we do need to use blockading techniques before we have our defences built, then these will be the sort of things we'll have to use bodies. So that's all we've got. So if you were my friend and you were going to give me the bumps, you would do it like this.
Yeah, so 4 people.
All right.
Yay! Woo!
That's rigid. That's easy to pick up. Now, try floppy.
Whoa. We're facing the other way.
All right. Yeah, that's a lot harder. Yeah. That's loads harder, isn't it? So that's a really good way of doing it.
All across London, groups of campers are gathering at designated meeting points and are getting ready to pounce on the secret location for this year's camp.
Today we're doing the Climate Camp bicycle swoop.
Like a flyer.
We'll receive a secret message at some point today revealing the location of the Climate Camp, and we'll all be swooping there as a group together.
As you may have noticed, we've received a text message. It says that there is an intricate plan and they would like us to all stay together at this point in time.
I'm very excited about today. There's a lot of unknown things there, so that kind of makes me nervous as well.
We don't know where it is yet. It's a secret location.
Who hasn't taken part in any meetings involving consensus? So in a big meeting, if you agree, it's hands straight up and wiggle your fingers. They're not part of a mad cult, unless you think Climate Camp is a mad cult. It feels really ridiculous to begin with, but when meetings are working, it's very, very effective.
Left out of Blackheath Station, up the hill, bear left onto Hare and Billet Road. Walk to the top and the site is on your right.
It's then a race across London to secure the site before the police can stop them.
Look at here! Wow! That's the training. It will count more when the police arrive, yeah?
Months of meticulous planning has paid off, and the site is occupied before the police arrive.
Let me hear a massive cheer for getting Climate Camp 2009 started!
The Climate Camp is a temporary encampment basically, and it's totally autonomous. There's no hierarchical power structures. Everything is run through consensus. It doesn't seek to be given permission to be there. Climate Camp is all about taking direct action, seizing power and making the changes that you want to see happen. And it's in its nature, and it teaches that to everyone who comes to Climate Camp.
Well, here we are on Blackheath in London, taking on capitalism, which is quite scary for the capitalists, I hope. And we expected 3 deep riot police. We expected to be doing all sorts of naughty things that I can't really tell you because we might need them in future. And we get here, and you can't even get a copper when you need one.
Brilliant.
Hi, all right then. Thank you. Have a successful camp. Bye-bye.
Have a nice night.
It's a camp where people can come together and learn, do workshops, trainings, share ideas, meet new people, plan direct action together. A group of us, a lot of us knew each other. We already kind of had a form of affinity. We'd done a few different things together already. And we came together to plan and carry out an action.
The police may have made themselves scarce, but they're still watching. Since the plan needs to remain top secret, the activists take precautions. They take the batteries out of their phones, and they're careful about what they say out loud.
I was just going to say another thing on that point. I don't know if... I think talking about the target might be all right, just as long as the time and place is not... Time and the date is not talked about. I don't know.
There's no particular reason why we have to say it if everyone's seen it though, so we could just refer to it.
Can we just maybe use another word instead of the target, and we all know what we're talking about?
the target, maybe.
So I think there's just no way that we're going to be able to blockade the whole building, but we wanted to blockade the front of the building and stop people getting in there.
I think probably 3 ladders with people at the top and people at the bottom locked on.
The idea of this, it was to kind of blockade it, to reclaim it as the people, like it's our bank, we're reclaiming it. And we're going to build it into what we want. So that way then it can be read in a more kind of anti-capitalist way.
Now, it wouldn't be a very good idea to go directly from the camp to the action, since a group of activists setting off with bags full of D-locks and ladders would be reasonably likely to get rumbled. So they all leave the camp to head to a Tempe base for the night.
Shall I start doing sauce? Yeah. Cool, so has everyone got their batteries out of their phones? One thing we've been discussing quite a lot is whether we want to have people going into the building with super glue, either trying to get past, there are some barriers, trying to get past the barriers, up the escalators and into offices or kind of the trading space, and super gluing to each other, not to the building, because that would, if we super glue to the building, that would be a criminal damage charge, but we'll be super gluing to each other. And the idea was to sing songs, kind of not nasty disruption, but disruption nonetheless inside the building.
So basically the likely charges of both going inside and being outside is aggravated trespass, although going inside it will probably be slightly more. If this goes to court, you're likely to get a fine or community service. It shouldn't be anything too heavy, but it will be slightly more if you go inside. And criminal damage we have avoided at every cost in the planning of this action, which has much more severe consequences, so I think we should preferably keep it that way.
They could just try and bail us for a long time. They'd probably try and bail us away from climate camp with the standstill protest that some people did. It happened in less than a month that we went to court. Yeah. But in other cases, like Drax's case, it took almost a year. So like it can be any time.
And if you get called to court, you have to go right then and there.
Yeah.
Okay, so who's going arrestable?
Someone counts.
Can someone count? Yeah.
18. By my count.
Oh yeah! There you go.
Has anyone used super glue before? Do you know how they deal with it? Because I'd like to hear about that.
If they use the solvent, it shouldn't really hurt at all. It does just, it comes off.
Just like slides off.
Yeah.
If all else fails, it's every man for themselves, just lock onto whatever you can. That's the kind of general thing.
Sally has stepped up to be a spokesperson tomorrow, so she brushes up on her facts and figures.
Is their main thing, but as well as oil and gas, they're also really involved in coal industry, and specifically E.ON. They've given E.ON loads of loans. Really importantly, they've given them £6 billion of loans since the bailout. So to E.ON, who are the company who are involved in Kingslock. If you are going to quote a figure, make sure you say took part in loans or were involved in loans, because what RBS do is they're like an intermediary between investors and investment projects.
We're making up the arm locks.
Arm locks are a cunning way to lock yourself to someone so that it's hard for the police to separate you. It may appear like these guys are seasoned pros, but don't be fooled. Only a couple of them have ever been arrested before.
The lock is on the front of your neck so that you can personally undo it.
Yeah, that's more comfortable as well.
How quick was that, guys? That was pretty quick.
That was really good.
Right, so can we have a talk through? So, James, you're the first part.
I'm going to drive down there, I'm going to check our RBS subtly, have a cup of tea, look for any abnormal security, police movements. If that's all fine, I'm going to park up and wait for you guys. If it's not fine, I'm going to call you.
People in the white marquee, people who are going to be blockading the outside, go to the van, get everything out. Then, as soon as everything's out of the van, that's when arrestable inside need to go. We follow straight afterwards, and just behind us we need to have all of the non-arrestables.
I'm writing the number of the climate camp legal support, which will be the number we'll call from jail when we've been arrested, and they'll contact our solicitors and put all of that into action. It's good to have it on you rather than on a piece of paper, because your possessions might be taken away from you.
Yeah, they say who do you want to inform about you being arrested, and you give them that number.
Yeah, I've got one of our phones. So when we're all in position, I'm going to call James.
Spokesperson or anyone to speak to?
I'm a media spokesperson.
Okay, alright. Okay. I just
Would you like to know why we're here?
I would like to know why you're here.
We're
obviously you are, of course.
Yeah, we're renovating the Royal Bank of Scotland because we won't stand for the fact that the government has invested £33 billion in the Royal Bank of Scotland to bail it out, and that is financing climate change due to the way that that money is invested.
Okay. You do realise obviously that you're obstructing people's access to the rest of the premises and things like that.
Aware
and
of
obviously
that.
you're obstructing people on the highway, etc.
Michael Harris from the UK Security Operations Manager. You've entered the building today unlawfully. You've been asked to leave and you've all refused. You've caused intimidation to staff and disruption to the business. As a representative of the business, I will inform you if you do refuse to leave and if you are arrested, as a company we will prosecute you all.
Is there anything else that I can reasonably do or say that will make you leave the premises?
If you committed that RBS would stop investing in fossil fuel industries and change over to serious investment in renewables, we would happily leave if that was the commitment.
The new touchy-feely policing means the news is not distracted by police violence and can now find time to actually report why the activists are there.
Climate campaigners have glued and chained themselves to the London headquarters of the Royal Bank of Scotland.
Dressed as construction workers, they used bike locks and super glue to attach themselves to the building.
We aim to shut down the bank for a whole working day. This is an anti-banks holiday.
They're angry at the bank's investment in fossil fuel projects.
Can I just ask where you guys are from?
I'm from Hackney.
And where are you?
Bedfordshire.
And where are you from? I'm from the Daily Express, unfortunately. What? I'm from the Daily Express. Shit, where's that?
Before long, the removal team arrived to unglue the guys on the trading floor.
Is it super
It may sting a little bit.
Yeah, I just heard that the people who were inside locked on, the 6 on the second floor, are now at the police station, so they must have taken them out a back way or something. Right.
Are you happy with these?
Whose bank? Our bank! Whose bank? How's it going so far?
It's going really well, I think. We're still here. That's always good.
In fact, the blockaders managed to hang on till the end of the business day.
RBS. Our funding collecting. It's taxpayers' money. It's taxpayers' money. We won't stand for this. We won't stand for this. We won't stand for this.
Once again, Climate Camp has grabbed the nation's attention and inspired a new generation of outlaws who leave determined to be a thorn in the side of the capitalists.
I'm Tracy Howard. I am a wife, mother, resident and local campaigner in the village of Sipson.
And what's going on in the village of Sipson?
At the moment, we're under the threat of the third runway. BAA proposed to demolish everything that you can see around this beautiful village to make way for an horrendous runway extending Heathrow Airport.
And a bigger airport means more flights and more emissions into the atmosphere. So a third runway at Heathrow has become a climate change battleground.
Plain Stupid is a grassroots direct action network that focused on the aviation industry as a key contributor to climate change.
Since 2006, Plain Stupid have been bringing aviation back down to earth, with audacious actions like a banner drop from the roof of the Houses of Parliament and occupying the runway at Stansted Airport.
I have been involved with Plain Stupid for the last couple of years. I was one of the people who was occupying the runway at Stansted last December, and I've been involved in Climate Camp for the last couple of years as well, which was really the sort of turning point in my political motivation was the 2007 Climate Camp. I'd sort of been on the fringes of doing stuff then. I'd always been interested. I'd been to lots of marches and stuff like that, and then 2007 I was like, right, enough's enough, we've got to start actually doing stuff. It's so drastic and potentially affecting my future so detrimentally that I have to try everything I can to do something about it. Yeah.
So through Plain Stupid, had a lot of connections with the campaign and the communities around Heathrow that were facing complete destruction, tarmacking effectively of their communities.
There's a really vibrant community down there who are trying to resist, who need more support in what they're doing, and there's lots of people who still need to get engaged with the debate. So I think the idea principally of us moving down there is to just do some real sort of grassroots community resistance style stuff to really build the community that they've got there and make it like a really resistant hub and an example for places across the country where there's proposed plans for airport expansion, for new coal power stations, that sort of thing. If you look at this map here, this is the proposed site of the new third runway, so it's going to cut right across Harlington, which is right next door to Sipson, which is the one that's going to get completely demolished if third runway plans go ahead.
I got involved about 6 to 7 years ago with the threat of the third runway. They was also threatening to bulldoze and dig up Cherry Lane Cemetery. My husband's nan's there, so it became more poignant and something involved in my own life. So that's hence I got involved in all the different action groups. I go from leaflet dropping to direct action. I'm quite variable. I go from the basics right up to the main squeeze, shall we say. My direct action involved a few of us turning up the Architect of the Year award, and we basically sabotaged it. We awarded Pascal and Watson with the We Don't Give a Shit award because they don't give a shit about us.
Good evening, everybody. We won't take much of your time. We're here from Plain Stupid and the residents around Heathrow. And before the awards start, we'd like to give our own personal award. And we'd like to give our award to Pascal and Watson. I think Pascal and Watson are here somewhere tonight. And we'd like to give them an award because they've been at the forefront of aviation expansion since the 1960s. And they've been doing...
Josh gave the talk about the environmental issues, and I gave the talk about my life.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you kindly leave the stage, please? Would you please leave the stage and we can proceed with our award ceremony?
You've been incredible! You've been destroying the climate, people's homes, and local communities.
It's for Pascal and Watson. Anyone else? Anyone
Would anyone else like the award? They're digging up my grandmother's grave! My grandmother's grave!
When I was asked to leave, I did actually leave. I had to go back on stage because I left my coat and my bag there. But we did actually leave. We were non-threatening. We were just there to make a point. We distributed lots and lots of leaflets about the situation, and it was absolutely fine.
It'd be really interesting to put a transition town in the space of where the third runway, they would like to put the third runway, and contrast those two things. So start to build the world that we'd like to live in the space where they'd like to tarmac.
Lily, Paul, Rowan and some other Plain Stupid members are moving to one of the threatened villages out near Heathrow.
How long do you think you'll be living out by Heathrow?
At the moment I'm committing in my mind at least to being there for at least a year. Hopefully by this time next year they'll say, right, it's definitely getting dropped, or we've actually changed our minds and we're gonna do it.
So here we are.
Here we are. Welcome to my new home, which is resident of Harlington now, which is quite exciting. Yeah, you can hear the aircraft noise already. I'm going to have to get used to that, I think. I suppose people live with it every day, so we'll get used to it eventually, I suppose.
Back at the Vestas factory, the workers have been forced to end their occupation, but some have joined Marina and the others who are now living on the traffic island, and they are blockading the removal of the machinery from the plant.
Living on a roundabout, poking two fingers up to a multinational corporation which is making profits out of climate change rather than helping to solve the problem. I think it feels like direct action every day.
We're upsetting them, making it difficult for them to work. Well, quite right. They sacked 400 workers.
This is our living room, which I think is a little bit too comfortable. 4 months I've been here. I don't know how long I'm going to stay on the Isle of Wight. I think once you start a campaign, you have to see it through. These are my broad beans, which I'm particularly proud of, because these are the ones earlier in the year, back in Brighton, I planted broad beans in memory of the diggers of 1649. So I got seeds from those, and I brought the seeds from that crop that came up for G20 Meltdown, which was the anniversary of the diggers taking St George's Hill. And I popped them in just before Halloween, and now I have beautiful little broad beans coming up.
Does all of this do any good?
I think you can't do, thank you, you can't do nothing. That wouldn't have done any good. All of this, I think there have been, one of the problems is if people realise there's a problem and they don't think they can do anything, that is so depressing. That is suicidal depressing. That is roll over and die depressing. But if you think you can do something and you can make a difference through campaigning or putting your body in the way, then that's empowering. So you actually are taking back control of your life, even though all these decisions are out of our control. They're made by politicians over there. So yes, it has done good.
After 4 months of trying to do good, the powers that be have had enough, and an eviction order has arrived.
Hello. Mr. Quinn from High Court Enforcement. We're here today to enforce it.
Can you turn around a bit so I can get the sunlight on your face? Thank you, dear.
Is that all right?
Yeah, that's a bit better.
Okay.
Yeah. What are you saying?
We're here from High Court Enforcement to enforce the writ today.
Okay.
All right?
Yes. Now, would you like a cup of tea?
Thank you very much. We just had a coffee.
Okay. Well, the kettle will be on while we pack up.
Okay.
So
how long do you think it'll take you?
Oh, it's going to be a few hours.
Do you reckon an hour? Hour and a bit? Should we give it till 12 o'clock?
Oh, I don't think we'll have finished elections by 12 o'clock.
Okay. 12, we'll go for 12 o'clock.
So I don't think we'll be packed by 12 o'clock, but we'll see what we can do.
Okay, lovely.
Yeah, this is Trudy, as she says, our beat officer. Marina's got a favourite police officer and it's me. Oh. I got emotionally engaged. I got so involved.
I'm not too sure if you're going to be able to do this because you're actually removing property that belongs to another person. I know that you planted the seed, but you're removing the earth, aren't you? Marina, I'm telling me. Marina, I don't know. I'm just saying that this is all being recorded. Yeah. You are removing some earth. If they wish to prosecute me, tell you what, I'll have my day in court. Okay. Crumpets, everybody! Crumpets!
Oh,
we have one. There we go.
What we require you to do is leave the site within 5 minutes.
I hated the way that the authorities could just tell you, no, your campaign's going to end today. How dare they?
So let me get this straight. You're not going to give a woman long enough to put her crockery away because you think an hour is a reasonable time to tack down an entire camp.
We've given you enough time and enough warning, nothing's been done. Okay, so this is what we now require.
No! Here they are, taking down my tent.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
I now require you to leave the site, please. Okay.
I'm not leaving the site without my belongings.
Unfortunately, we've already given you a chance to get your first obsessions.
You haven't given us a chance. No, you haven't. No, you haven't. You've asked because I'm packing up all 3 places.
Okay, you've had 2.5 days. I now require you to leave the site. Come with me, please.
I want my bed. They're telling me to go to. I want my bed. They're going to pack it all up and you'll be able to collect it at a later date. If you don't leave the site now, as requested, you'll have no alternative but to arrest you. No, I've got to get my kettle. I'm not going without my kettle. I'm not going without my kettle. Where's my kettle?
What colour is your kettle? Okay, can you come with me, please?
Ow! 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 Marina, you're under arrest, section 10.
Being arrested for basically trying to leave for 2 things, and it was like the law, there was just nowhere, there's sort of no space in the interview for sort of any understanding of the fact that you've been living somewhere, and on top of that, you know, the policewoman who arrested me, the day before, she'd come to visit, and I really thought that we got to know each other. You know, she'd come and visit. You know, she gave me a hug goodbye, you know, when she, you know, turned up with the bailiffs. You know, it was all very, very friendly. But she arrested me anyway, and she cried during my interview, because, I mean, I cried. And even then I had to, like, keep polite, and it was like, they're telling me that, you know, I should have packed a bit earlier. And I left my stuff till last. So I suppose my tears were more for, like, just for the sadness, like, you know, that so much we have to overcome. You know, the fact is, the only way we can overcome is if lots and lots of people agree that the law is an ass and start ignoring the laws, because that's how you get the laws changed. You know, Rosa Parks sat down on a bus. The law changed because lots of people agreed with her. So that's what we have to do. But it has to be fun and exciting, and you know, we have good friends, and we get over getting arrested, and we get on with the next job, and that's what we're going to do tomorrow. We're not hoping for lots of arrests. We're hoping for lots of new recruits to the revolution.
This is Radcliffe-on-Soar Coal Power Station, the second largest power station in the UK, and soon to be the target of a publicly announced mass action. An open planning meeting is held in Nottingham. Anyone is welcome to come.
Morning.
Well, except the police.
There's a whole load of secrecy that goes with taking direct action. It's hard for any member of the public to take part in a direct action. If they want to go and shut down a power station, they don't know how. And so the point of the swoop was to publicly say, we're going to shut down this power station, and we're going to do it on this date, and we're going to do it with loads of people. And anyone who wants to come and help can come along and do it.
Nexter Power Station is on high alert tonight as environmental campaigners have vowed to shut it down.
One advantage of a publicly announced action is that the news coverage starts before the target is even in sight.
Protesters arriving at Nottingham train station tonight. Hundreds more are expected tomorrow. If you just come with me, I'll show you how extensive the security operation is here. There are dozens of police officers. Some of them are already in riot gear. Throughout the day, the police helicopter's been hovering overhead. And take a look at this. Mile after mile of razor wire and fencing has been put up around the site. All this security is with one aim: to stop the protesters from getting inside.
State-sanctioned protests are good for one thing, but we need to start actually doing things that will directly impact on those offenders. And the coal industry is a massive offender. They are undeniably causing carbon emissions that will destroy our planet. And one thing about direct action, I suppose, is that the target is always supposed to have an immediate effect. The idea with the climate swoop was to shut down a power station and stop it emitting dangerous chemicals into the atmosphere, to actively stop it. It wasn't just to stand on there on the line with a placard saying we don't like what you're doing. It was actually to take action, to do something.
When going on an action, it's important to look after each other, so everybody has a buddy to watch their back. So Sophie and Mary are buddies, and they will stick together. As buddies, they are paired with Rowan and Paul to make what we call a brick. As a four, they can make quick decisions and work as a tactical unit.
So there might be someone that's happy to cut a fence open, and there might be someone else that's not, but they're happy to support someone who's cutting the fence open. And so they work out their roles such that one person might be carrying all the food. That enables the person that's happy to cut the fence open to cut the fence open.
Their brick is part of what we call an affinity group, who will work together for the day. Their affinity group joins hundreds of others so that they can move en masse to the target.
You're walking in the footsteps of history, and you're doing it because you want to stand up and defend the future. A lot of people have made a lot of change in history, and they have done it by working together and challenging the status quo and finding hope and faith where it might seem like there is none. In the end, somebody has to take down the fences.
Stitching patches with our sentiments.
There are campaigns you can do that involve letter writing. There's, you can do frightfully nice picnics, but sometimes you just have to get a bit messy. The coal just has to be stopped. So I've come with kind of a messy attitude. I'm just getting in there, being a little bit with my balaclava up. Guys, somebody's cut a hole in the fence over by the bridge, which is that way. Let's not point, sorry. That way, he's waiting for some kind of critical mass to make their way over there and storm it. So it wasn't just about destroying the fence. The idea was to destroy the fence, to get through and lock ourselves onto various different points.
One way in which we can change things, and a really, really important way, because mass civil disobedience shows that the law is unjust when people are willing to become outlaws to change things.
And it's powerful, and it empowers people to take control of their own lives and can take control of their own actions and their own futures.
Criminal damage pointed at the right organisation is completely warranted, and especially when you figure that the damage that they're causing is 1 billion times worse than any of the damage that any of those people had inflicted on those fences.
Yeah, I did nearly get arrested that day. I was walking through the woods with my affinity group, and All of a sudden, a police officer grabbed me from behind. I shouted the arrest. And all my friends came to my rescue and helped me. So if you get in a position where a police officer is arresting you, you don't have to accept that that's going to be your destiny, that you will be arrested. I got away and we ran very fast. If more people as a collective decided to de-arrest people, then a lot less people would get arrested and the police would find their job exponentially harder.
They didn't manage to shut down the power station that day. But as Sally says, the sight of thousands of people openly becoming outlaws sends a very powerful message. London streets are buzzing as the biggest climate change march in UK history is about to move off. Our guys are attending, but today, dressed in their finest capitalist suits.
Don't worry about climate change, just keep shopping, you're doing the right thing.
And yeah, that's me. And that's my mum. And she's not totally sure what she's let herself in for.
Cap and trade.
Yeah.
What that means is that each government sets a cap on the amount of carbon that can be emitted.
Yes.
And they give permits to large polluters like power stations, so on and so forth, to emit things.
So they could then sell it.
Then sell it and make a load of money.
And literally, it's money, is it?
It's all about money. It's a financial mechanism to manage climate change.
So we're saying, ironically, that actually that's a good idea.
So, yeah. Power! Power! Power to the privilege! Because the privilege of the power! Tell me, can you feel it?
Yeah, ready to tell those well-meaning liberals what's what? How to make some money out of this crisis.
How did you get involved?
Well, you know, I've always had an eye for an opportunity. And, this is the biggest one I've ever seen. So, you know, if there's going to be a, you know, $3 trillion a year market, I'm going to get in at the ground floor and go all the way to the top.
Yeah, baby. That's a beautiful moustache you've got. Oh, you're a girl, sorry. So I thought you were a boy then.
Green is greener! Greener is greener! Carbon trader! Eco crusader! One solution! Trade pollution! Money is made through cap and trade! Trust us with your futures. We're bankers. Give us your money. We'll trade it for carbon. Go back home. Watch your TVs. And watch us make lots of money. Let's hear it for carbon trading!
You know, my sister said to me today, she was like, "Are you excited about your holiday?" Slightly misunderstood the purpose of my trip to Denmark, but yeah.
Preparations are being made to travel to Copenhagen, where the United Nations are holding a 2-week conference of world leaders to hammer out a deal on tackling climate change.
Do you reckon they're going to take this stuff off us if they find it?
They might.
Keep it hidden in the minibus.
They won't take it. It's only the Danish border that it will be a problem because everywhere else it's just legal. It's bought in a chemist.
It's
legal, it's just they're
they've
selling it.
Stopped selling it.
They've banned the sale of it though.
So if they ban the sale of it, then
Danish
they're probably
authority.
illegal product.
No. Is it?
This is Malox, and it's used to treat the effects of CS gas. Mix it with water, pour it on your eyes and face, and it stops the burning.
They've got no outside police, apart from like intelligence officers.
Yeah.
But loads of German police dogs.
Oh.
Yeah, no, but does that mean they're just
handlers?
Does that mean they're just coming on their own, just like unleash the dogs?
The Danish government have been making their own preparations by granting the police new powers to detain protesters at will.
It says you will probably be taken to the police station and placed in a holding cell.
The Danish police are arresting not just for vandalism, but can give people 40 days if you inhibit police work.
This is obstruction.
That's
everything basically. Standard law.
But 40 days for obstruction is quite a long time.
40 days for anything.
Obstruction is a pretty like flexible term. They could use it for standing in front of them.
Right, what do I need for Copenhagen?
Are you expecting to get arrested?
No, not at all, but It seems like a strong possibility.
Why?
Well, I suppose on the 16th of December, the plan is to go and get into the conference ourselves and hold our own conference to let the people that have been affected by climate change have their views said, and I don't think they're going to be very happy with us trying to do that. So, I'd like not to get arrested, but never say never.
The Kyoto Protocol coming to an end, and there was going to be a new UN conference to discuss how the world would then take up those climate issues. And I decided that I wanted to be there. I just felt it was really important to put your body in a place just to say, I care about this, I'm a citizen of this world, and I took on organising transport and accommodation.
We're on the ferry, it's very exciting.
The world's eyes are on the UN summit because the scientific community have made it clear that if a serious deal on reducing emissions isn't struck this year, then next year may be too late.
Danish police haven't extensively used border controls in recent years. It's the Danish police that ultimately decides who they want to reject. Lists of activists and activists with criminal records are a possible way of selecting who comes in and who doesn't.
Yeah, we're going to that way, it's cool.
Maybe they'll go to the rest stop.
No sooner have they crossed the border into Denmark than they are stopped and searched.
Could I have a look at your passport?
You can indeed.
Yeah. And your driver's license, please.
There's all the passports.
How many are you?
We are 17.
17?
Yes.
Okay.
It's okay.
Thank you.
And have a nice day, okay?
That's it. Can you see the end?
It isn't just our guys who are heading for Copenhagen. Activists from around the world are joining them because they believe that corporate interests supported by powerful governments have hijacked the process. So it's highly unlikely that a fair or effective agreement will be reached.
We've gone to our little building where we're staying, which is quite nice. It's warm, which is a plus.
Okay. Have to cross the riot, guys.
We're going to the candy factory to a bike block meeting, but we're late because we missed the bus.
The Bike Block are going to use bicycles as a tool for civil disobedience on the day of mass action.
We were on an old, disused candy factory that was a community art space, and it was a legalised squat. And there we set up this outdoor workshop and an indoor workshop for bike maintenance and another separate space for bike welding. Every evening between 3 and 5 we had training.
Started making some of the DDTs, the double trouble. And we'll cause some double trouble with them. This is a double trouble, not a double trouble.
That worked. And so this is... Oh.
Just to let you know, the police are here.
We do games, training, at 3 o'clock. At 3 o'clock? It's not a demo. We go down to the park and we train in the park.
Okay.
So, are you going to stay here and intimidate people, or are you going to go away, or are you going to...
just take a look, so...
Okay.
Just to announce about the cops outside, they just said they were coming to have a look because they thought that we were stealing bikes. I explained we love bikes, we wouldn't steal bikes. So they said they weren't going to stand there and intimidate us for too long. Now our role on the 16th of December is to be like, a bit like the cavalry, okay? So always moving and always taking
the police away from where they're trying to stop the people coming in to the Bella Centre. Because what will be happening on the 16th is that people will be coming into the Bella Centre, but also about 500 people, probably more, will be coming out of the Bella Centre. And that's the beauty of the day. So, we're going to play some games now to get used to the bikes. Put your bike up like that, use your tyre to defend your body. How did that feel? Scary. And they were your mates. So in this one, basically the thing to do... Oh, the cops are filming us.
So we're in Copenhagen, where this is the UN talks, where carbon trading is one of the only solutions on the table, which the
Carbon trading is the table.
It is the table indeed, and we are in the seat of that. Like, it's not like we're away somewhere, and it's not just about capitalism, although that's great, but it is about the UN summit that is taking place in Copenhagen right here and now, is presenting free market capitalist solutions to something that shouldn't.
We love it. We're just making very quickly our carbon trader wax association posters, which we're going to be taking on the big NGO march today to illustrate just how important a solution carbon trading is to put on the table in Copenhagen.
To subverting what Greenpeace is doing and flipping the tables around them.
What do you want out of it?
Just to look at it?
I mean,
just open it?
Yeah, you can check it for weapons if that's what you're interested in. I mean, I don't know.
We just found a lot of explosives, that's why we're just looking around the area. Okay, thanks. Thank you very much.
No, that's cool.
That kind of works.
Oh, that's a lot. Now then, bankers, let's shake off any goodwill of humanity. Starting at your feet. 3 cheers for the police. Hip hip. Hip hip. Hip hip.
Have a nice walk. Yeah. And you. Where are you guys going?
Let's go now. One solution. Trade pollution. One solution. Trade pollution.
Is this the first hippie you've stopped today? First hippie? Are you hoping to get lots more? Are you going to stop lots more hippies?
Just take him away, it's fine. We don't judge him. It's just a hippie, we don't want to
Tell me, can you feel it? We're getting richer by the hour. We are singing for carbon trading. We want to make some money now.
Is it funny?
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah?
Yes, it's funny.
Yeah.
We thought about it for a long time, and now we found out it's irony. Yes.
One solution is the trade pollution.
200,000 people turned out that day for an entirely peaceful march. However, late in the afternoon, as temperatures dropped, the police used their new powers and preemptively detained 968 people. With only a week left at the summit, the police are taking increasing control of the streets and tensions are rising.
Excuse me, do you have guns? Those people should be peaceful. When do you think you're going to need to shoot people? Capitalista! Anti-capitalista! Anti-capitalista! We have a democratic right to protest.
kettles escaped. That was so funny when you climbed into the kettle and I was like, what?
However, on returning to base they find the police are already there and they're not allowed into their accommodation.
How come we can't go inside? Because they are making the police
Can I just sit in there?
work with a girl inside. They're talking to her.
Lauren, the film's producer, is being arrested under anti-terrorism law and tapes are being seized.
She works with me.
Yeah, she's
So can I please go inside?
No, not at this moment.
No, she's only come here because she's my assistant.
Yeah.
So I think I should be allowed to.
She's probably quite scared, I think.
She's probably quite scared. I'm a card-carrying member of the press, and you're taking my material away and out of my site, and that's really, really illegal thing to do, as far as I'm concerned.
Are you okay? Get back. It won't take a really long time. If you want your bags, you can leave them here. You trust these guys. Okay.
Can I just give her a hug because I'm sure she's very upset.
Now, what the police don't realise is that Emily's hug was just an excuse for Lauren to palm off some potentially incriminating footage.
Lauren, you haven't done anything wrong.
You haven't done anything wrong, okay?
Haven't done anything wrong.
These guys don't have any Probably not.
No,
she we know she hasn't. We know her. We know she's not done anything wrong. Just have to get that confirmed. That's all.
I mean, the whole police operation is about showing their force and their organisation, really, and terrifying us with their force and organisation, and arresting people, putting them in cages. Even the cages, you know, in a sense, have been designed to look like Guantanamo. You know, all this stuff is really, it's the fine art of psychological intimidation.
But we have our orders. We don't know the reason, but we have our orders.
Not all of the outlaws have headed to Copenhagen. Back in London, Marina and co have something up their sleeve.
The politicians are going to Copenhagen to cop out, so we're taking to the streets of London to camp out. We're going to take a space in the centre of London, we're going to pop up our tents, put up our tripod. All around the world there's going to be actions. Our personal bit is camping out for cop out in London.
So what's supposed to be happening?
What's supposed to be happening is 4 different groups coming from 4 different directions will swoop at 3 o'clock and no one else is here. Well, what's your text then? That's changed. Jubilee Gardens. Outside the Shell HQ.
We should have just gone with fucking Parliament Square. Oh God. This is my worst nightmare.
What's going on? What's the message say?
Stay where you were. We're going back to where we came from. Apparently this is a diversion. I've never given up and gone home on an action before, but I'm getting a little bit tired and a little bit confused and a little bit longing for a hierarchy. Tell me what to do. Be my leader. I'm going to go and sit on a bench. Well, I would have to look into my crystal ball to tell you what's happening. At the moment, nothing is happening. We have a decoy on the in Jubilee Gardens and a no-show on the site. I don't know whether vehicles have got lost. I don't know what's happened to communications. I don't see what was difficult about them.
And then, like a Christmas miracle, tents pop up in Trafalgar Square. As fast as can be, the camping girls get everything set up. And before Marina can even get the kettle on, the police have arrived and are asking for tea.
It's a very hard surface to be sleeping on.
Yes, it is. I'm hoping we're come prepared.
Yeah,
But I think it's pretty forbidding law.
So when did you leave the Isle of Wight then?
When they threw me off?
Oh, they threw you off. I mean, if you're going to set up here, you're going to set up properly.
Trafalgar Square occupation is not running out of tea. Neither is Copenhagen.
I'm worried about them.
Are you?
Those Danish police, they've no manners. No manners.
Let's hope they all come back safe and sound, huh?
I wouldn't get plastic cups out in front of those Danish cops. Never mind the second best China.
It's the day before the mass action against the UN conference, and all hands are on deck.
Go searching for your solace when your name goes through the muck. When every breath you take will be a thorn in good men's sides, then even you might beat the drums of freedom. For maidens in the morning.
The Danish police has permission to go into places here according to the Danish Police Act, and then we have to see what's in here, and then we will leave again. If we find anything that we think can be used to anything bad in the future, the nearest days, we will take it with us. We don't need any papers at all to go in here.
We'd like you to turn off the camera. I just got the message from our chief.
I showed you my press card.
Yes, but this is a crime scene.
A crime scene?
Yeah.
I'm a member of the press. I showed you my
But if you don't understand it,
I'm a journalist. I'm not turning off the camera.
if you have a press card, you have to wait outside until we are finished.
No,
Okay?
I don't.
But it's private.
Yes, but that doesn't matter. The Danish Police Act gives the permission. I am aware that you have another system in those countries where you're from, but in Denmark we are actually allowed.
We would like you to turn off the camera, and if you don't get it, the message,
Don't touch my camera.
we will take it. Okay? So
No, don't.
it's your own
Listen,
decision.
I was here filming a piece.
But you don't-
You're
you
here.
could-
This is a matter of public interest. Not going outside. Please stop pushing me. Please stop pushing me. I'm not being unreasonable. I am not being unreasonable. I am not being.
Just relax.
No, why have you
Listen,
removed
hey,
me?
excuse me, listen
You've
to me.
removed me so that nobody can see what you're doing.
Yeah, it's a crime scene. We have to search the place, and
what is the crime?
that's why
What is the crime?
we don't want you to
Tell me
film.
what the crime is.
We will tell you later.
You came in there,
Yeah.
you said that you were simply searching for weapons.
Yeah.
As far as I've seen, you've not found any weapons. If you're not doing anything
you
wrong...
have to turn it off now.
If you're not doing anything
You have to turn it
wrong-
off now.
If you're not doing
Okay,
anything
then I'll
wrong...
take it.
Placed their faith in you, betrayed by sweetened lies. They trusted you to beat the drums of freedom.
Everyone needs to be at the table having a conversation about what we really need to do to stop climate change. But that wasn't what was happening at Copenhagen. And the action, 16th of December, where NGOs and small nations and countries, all sorts of people from inside the conference, delegates, were going to come out and meet the grassroots movements on the outside, trying to come in and meet at the fence, meet in the middle and have a People's Assembly to find an actual solution to climate change.
And then on the day of action, we kind of set off quite quickly, got on our bicycles, it was snowing, cold. As we got quite close to the Bella Centre, all of a sudden this riot van full of police turned up, right, we're nicking you.
Even though we hadn't done anything, we were being arrested and detained in jail for the day.
Cuffed us all on the floor in a blizzard for about an hour and a half whilst they rounded up more people. We're like, oh, we're taking you to the chicken coop, which is what they called their temporary prison.
But it's all right, because we hadn't done anything and we'd be released later. And at that point, we felt the full force of, of repression from the Danish state at that time, with obviously sanction from the world.
I mean, it felt like martial law. It really, really did. I mean, it felt like, you know, like we were in a war zone, and it was, yeah, that element of it was a really horrible experience, actually.
They've just got every single roadblock other than this direct confrontation. And in that direct confrontation, there is no winning. They always have much better firepower, much stronger numbers. They're fully armoured. It's like a Robocop.
18 arrested from bike block. AMA been bitten by dog off leash.
Then Paul rings.
Do they know you have this phone?
No, they don't know.
Okay.
I just smuggled it in my pants.
Can you see people in any other cages?
Yeah, I can see loads of people in loads of cages. Hundreds of people here.
Hundreds.
Men and women. We're trying to go to the People's Assembly and just got lifted on the way.
Jamen, jeg så bare, det jeg så, det var, der var nogen, der løb bag ved os.
The inner wall's just been ripped up. Basically, the cages are destroyed and they can't put people in the cages once the walls are ripped up.
Because it was this general feeling of, if we demolish enough cells, they can't hold us physically. And so it was a matter of get everyone on each side of the cage to put their back towards the dividing wall and hold it. But all you've got to do is lift it out of this runner in the bottom, and you can just start shaking it from side to side, and it snaps all of these Jubilee clips which are holding it at the edge. And you just run all of them together in the same one, and then again they come blast you with mace.
So gradually, throughout the day, I went from this position of being totally gutted that I'd gone to go and participate in a People's Assembly, you know, been really compliant, you know, which I was angry with myself for being compliant with, and being stopped and searched, and then being arrested for no reason, to a position where I felt like we were actually breaking down that process by asserting our humanity.
What was quite beautiful about it though is that this was like a kind of a collaboration, like an international collaboration between people from all over Europe, all over the world, and the chanting and singing was in every language you could imagine, and you just pick it up as quickly as possible and try and get everyone chanting it, and it was such a powerful thing to hear complete indignation about what was going on there, and we had to unify.
After weeks of wrangling, Obama and his pals cut a backroom deal, but they couldn't get the rest of the UN to back it, leaving the process on hold until next year.
The Latin American countries, the left-wing Latin American countries, are completely denouncing the whole thing. They are saying that the conference has been a total failure, a complete disaster. They are saying they want a world referendum on what should be done. They are blaming America specifically and capitalism generally.
I think it's not even, it can't even be called a deal. It could be called a cop-out.
Technically our politicians are meant to be on our side, but really and truly they're not. So I went to Copenhagen to protest at what was being proposed by the governments taking part in Copenhagen Summit, which was carbon trading, and disrupt that conference. And in doing that, hopefully, you hoped that governments would seek another path to solving the problem of climate change, which wouldn't be a capital-based money system, and everything would be solved and it would all be better because we went there and told them not to do that, and they listened to us.
But they didn't listen to it.
But they didn't listen to us. Of course they're not going to listen to us.
No, you say, of course they're not going to listen to us. Now, some people would say, well, then you knew it was futile from the beginning.
Of course it was futile, but sometimes even when you know something is futile, it doesn't mean you shouldn't try, because you always got to have hope, and if you don't try, then you never know if you're actually going to win or lose or succeed at anything, because you never know. You might surprise yourself sometimes, and other people might surprise you, and you've got to try.
I think a lot of us came back quite disheartened. I mean, I know I certainly, interestingly, have shifted my perspective almost away from climate change and realising I need to shout more loudly about capitalism. I need to shout much more loudly about the system rather than what the system's doing. And Copenhagen forced me into that position, actually. I went there to discuss climate change and came out discussing capitalism and, you know, and state control. So, you know, it totally radicalised me. So thank you Copenhagen police, for pushing me into that corner.
Post-capitalism is better than what we've got already. I'm not sure how we're going to get there. I'm not sure how it's going to work, but I think we can give it a go. You're into post-capitalism, aren't you? Give it a go. Yay, vote Sophie Nathan.
Have you voted?
Yep.
Good, nice, like it. Were you pleased with your choice?
No.
I wasn't either. I
think they're trying to trick everybody now.
All right, well, you didn't vote for me, I'm guessing. I'm standing as an independent.
Oh, okay.
Sophie Nathan, set up my own party called the Post-Capitalist Party for a life beyond profit and growth. Never know. You think, fingers crossed, fingers crossed.
Back out near Heathrow, Lily and the Plain Stupid crew are about to try something completely different.
Today, we're starting the first big project to transition Heathrow.
Taking a piece of land which is in a state of disrepair. It's got these beautiful greenhouses on it, and we're going to have a land clearing weekend next weekend. We're going to get the community down, lots of friends down, clear it up and get people to decide what they want to happen on the land.
I'm a council taxpayer. They're welcome in this village any time of the day.
And the locals have been backing us so much on this project, keep dropping around bags of food and stuff for us, and you know, just dropping in blankets and sleeping bags and everything, and making sure we're warm enough and joining us in the evening. So everybody's really excited about what it could become.
When Climate Camp came and these young people came to support us, we haven't looked back.
It's like the autonomy of a project like this is what makes it direct action for me. It's disregarding the existing power structures and just doing it ourselves.
When my life's over, I want to hope that my contribution to it added something positive rather than took something away from it. If we want the future world to be a certain way or to be different from how it is now in any respect, then we should start to prefigure that future world in the here and now and be the change we want to see.
We've started something and our hearts are into finishing it. So we hope we are winning. If we're not, we'll take a rain check and we'll be in there doing something. We'll be in there doing something.
Will it be legal?
Yeah, it won't be legal. You can definitely bank on that.
I don't know the meaning of that word. Red banner.
Cool. So I want to see a future where people really work together and create things together and have control over their workplaces and their housing and their lives, and I think that's really important to me. But I don't want to sell my time to people to do jobs that I don't care about in order to gain a lifestyle which won't make me happy. I want to carry on working with people in this way, and in that sense everything's changed for me about the future. I think, like, if you were going to kind of sum it up in one word, it's anti-capitalism, but for a lot of people that doesn't really mean anything. And I think what we really need to understand is the connections, that the system which prioritises profit over people time and time again is the same system that's driving this.
I can see the end of capitalism as the only rational solution to solving climate change. I've tried thinking about all sorts of different things and reading about different things, and every time it comes back to money and power, and I see capitalism as the epitome of money and power. It obviously worries the people in power what we're saying, and you've got to ask why, because it's not threatening to anyone, it's asking for a better quality of life for everyone else. And if capitalism wants to stop that, then capitalism has to go.
The yield of something is limited only by your imagination, and a site like this, it's giving so much in so many different ways, in ways that I didn't even really think about before we started talking about it, like being drawn together by principles of growing and stuff. They're rebuilding a community that's been blighted by this threat of the airport overhanging them.
What we're doing is a fundraiser for the Grow Heathrow project. Thank you to everyone who's been involved in helping set up this project, who are currently involved in keeping it all going, and just a way to celebrate how much we've achieved in such a short time, because we wouldn't have been able to do it on our own.
Yeah, I'm the sous chef. He's in charge, he's head chef. I'm just helping out.
So our tale is coming to a close. But before we say goodbye, Rowan's got one last story for us.
We had a plan to shut down Didcot Power Station and ended up at 4 in the morning, convoy of maybe 20 of us, cycled straight past security barriers, split into 2 groups. One group was headed for the coal conveyor belt and the other group was headed for the chimney. I was in the chimney team. Got to the base of the chimney, cut the lock off the gate and got inside, and we pretty much ran up this chimney because we thought we were being chased. And it was a kind of spiral staircase, a square spiral staircase going up. We had no idea of how high we were up the chimney. It was pitch black in there, we had torches and that's all we had, and you just can't see anything. And up or down, it's just a void below and a void above, and it was just like, oh my God, we're screwed. We thought we were only about halfway up. And then someone was like, I can see stars. And we realised we were at the top, and we kind of cheered and were amazing. We got out on top and it was like a flood of endorphins and just unbelievable feeling.
Back on the ground, the police have arrived to begin removing the other crew locked onto the conveyor belt.
Give me a feeling about sort of what your intentions are.
We intend to be here for 3 days.
3 days?
Yeah.
Okay. Any particular reason why 3 days? As long as you
That's
can
how
last.
much food we've got.
By day 3, the power station had stopped burning coal. Their supplies running low, but mission accomplished, Rowan and crew came back down to face the consequences.
So were you making a point or stopping emissions?
Oh, we're doing both things at the same time. We were making a point in that this isn't something that should be continued, and we were trying to make a point to RWEM Power, who owned Didcot Power Station, that this isn't a good thing to be doing and you shouldn't be planning on doing it more by building new coal-fired power stations. And at the same time, we were directly stopping carbon emissions being emitted into the atmosphere.
This is what I'm living to do now because it needs to be done. I hope that doesn't sound nonsense, because it isn't. And I think it's what life is all about. There is more to life than, being judged on your ability to shop, based on an income and what you've accumulated. I think we all still agree that the spirit is still an important aspect of humanity, and it's to be expressed and lived, and I try to do that. I can't help do that, actually. And I think half the time people think, I can't glue, I can't look on, I don't want to be arrested. It doesn't matter. Get involved, there's something to do. I started off making tea, and now I'm just like, oh, bloody hell, come on, let's sit down here. Anyone out there thinking, I want to do more, just do it.
Doing something's better than doing nothing?
Absolutely. Doing nothing about climate change makes climate change worse. That's what I'm saying.
So even doing a little something is better than doing nothing?
And I don't mean I recycle. I don't mean that. I mean civilised disobedience. Do it.
When you think about the things you know are going wrong, then why don't you just do it? There's a better way to live your life if you want to stand strong. Go on, just do it. Getting on the streets can make you feel better in every way. Today, just do it. Power to the people is the message, and it won't go away. So I say, just sit up and take a look around, what do you see? People in the world are confused like me. Civil liberties keep getting eroded, but myth after myth is getting exploded. Now we're looking at a new situation. Everyone's an activist in need of activation. That means that you need to get switched on. Gotta do it right, cause so much has gone wrong. They don't like when we take to the streets, grab a megaphone, spit bars on the beat.
Congregate in the centre of the town, shout the Queen is Elizabeth. This is how we get down. Silently we agree it's time for roadblock. Cops try to move us on but don't see the D-locks. Sometimes that's gotta be the way it is. Politicians turn politics into showbiz. New leaders, you came in speedy. I see you and I see that you're greedy. Condemns but you're condemning what? Making all the cuts while the climate get hot. It don't matter cause it won't be long. The Armageddon drummers drumming while I'm singing my song. If you bang one, make sure that it's loud as you stop all the planes like a volcanic cloud. When you think about the things you know are going wrong, then why don't you just do it? There's a better way to live your life if you wanna stand strong. Go on, just do it. Getting on the streets can make you feel better in every way. Today, just do it. Power to the people is the message and it won't go away. It's never going away. Power to the people, power to the people. Power to the people is the message and it won't go away. Never going away, not today. No. What do I say? Crews converge, Heathrow to Copenhagen. Learn to stay alert, sniff the air, put the bacon. Each one teach ones what we do. Learning from the old and we're learning from the new. Social media came along and switched the game up. Grab yourself a tent, come along and get your name up. Big banks don't care for human beings, so we refocus, change the way that we see it. People around the world are starting to wake up. Call it affinity, cause it can't be faked up. Keep moving so you can't be stopped. Fighting the power is always a lot. This is the way that you build up a movement. Try to do your best to make an improvement. Do your jazz hands if you agree with me. Turn off the kettle, let's have a cup of tea. When you think about the things you know are going wrong, then why don't you just do it?